Welcome to SENS Talk. My name is Brandon, and I'm your host. Now, before we get started, please follow me on Twitter at @SensTalk_. I tweet there plenty, lots of great content. I appreciate the support I've been getting over there over the last few days. I think the last 2 weeks I've gained like 100, 200 new followers. So thank you very much for the support there. And of course, here, speaking of that, we had a huge live stream the other day, 4+ hours. If you want to check that out, I'd really appreciate it. In the comment section below on that video or stream, I put timestamps for the key moments from the video. So if you want to watch it, but you don't want to watch 4+ hours, I gotcha. Now as well in the description below, pardon me, I'll put the link to my Matt Murray trade analysis video. The Sanders acquired him for a prospect and a pick. So I broke that down for both sides, for Ottawa and for Pittsburgh. So if you want my analysis on that, the link in the description below is where you'll be able to find it. Now, before we get into today's Sanders 2020 draft recap, we got to talk about something really, really important very, very briefly. Anthony Duclair was not extended a qualifying offer with Ottawa Sanders. He will hit the free agent market on Friday. Very, very shocking decision by the Ottawa Sanders. I don't understand it. He was the leading goal scorer last year for Ottawa, 23 goals, I believe. People are saying, well, Elliot Freeman is saying that the Sanders didn't want to qualify him because they didn't want to risk on arbitration. But regardless, arbitration, it would only award a 1-year deal. The Sanders are already, as is, in a very, very tough position to reach the cap floor. Now, the Sanders are getting rid of another player, so there's only 4 players, if you include STUTZLE in that are making $1 million as of this moment next year as forwards. So I don't understand this whatsoever. Good for Duclair. I hope he gets some good money on the market. But what I will say is, I'm going to bite my tongue on this, but I think, the Sanders just can go through 2-3 days with positive vibes. Ever since yesterday, with Trebek, the new jerseys, Tim Stützle joined the team. It was good vibes. And then today, it did continue those good vibes, especially with that trade for Matt Murray. And Duclair, and this news with Duclair has really ruined that and really put a funk around this overall few days. So, I don't know if there's a curse on Ottawa or something, but regardless, thank you, Anthony Duclair, for everything you've done for the community on and off the ice. You spoke on the important issues off the ice. I wish the team would have projected that more, but keep on doing what you're doing. We're proud of you, and good luck in the future. Now today, let's talk about the first prospect, number 3, third overall, Tim Stützle from Mannheim. We already covered this guy, in my prospect preview, but we're going to do it again. This kid's so good. With the bow tie and everything, he looked classy last night. Now at 6 foot, 187 pounds, the left wing / center. And I say that because Pierre Dorion said he thinks Tim Stützle will be a starting center in the NHL eventually, like a number 1 center. But he said if Stützle is in the lineup next year, he'll likely go from the left wing and transition to the center position. Now, with Quinton Byfield taken at 2nd overall, everyone knew who Ottawa was going to take at 3rd. With a masterful presentation by Alex Trebek, which was really cool, the host of Jeopardy announced Tim Stützle as the Senators' pick, which was really, really cool. He did it in a very Jeopardy way. Topic today, the NHL question, who is the Sanders' 3rd overall selection? Then he said Tim Stützle. It was probably one of the best, if not the best moment in, sports, draft sports history. It was so unique, and who doesn't love Alex Trebek, right? So that was really, really cool. I'm sure Tim Stützle will always remember that. But Stützle says his goal is to make the National Hockey League next year, and he should. I think he will make the team next year without a doubt. This kid is legit. And more importantly, this is a kid that's going to really change the trajectory of the Sanders rebuild, and for obvious reasons. Stützle has been putting on a performance for years in Germany, absolutely dominating every single league he plays in, which is always much higher than his own age. This season, the centerman, or left winger, turned 18 and was playing in the men's league, finishing with 7 goals, 27 assists, and 34 points in 41 games. Last season, turning 17 halfway through, wow. He played in the under-20 league, racking up 23 goals, 32 assists, and 55 points in only 21 games. Yeah, that's really, really good. Now, what Tim Stützle brings to the Sens is truly a complete package. He's an excellent skater, combining agility with a quick first step and high top speed. His hands are among the best in the draft class. I'm going to say it right now. I think his hands are the best in the draft class. And he holds onto that puck he holds that puck like it's on a string, and as he dipsy doodles through defenders. This guy is going to be a walking highlight reel through his first through his career in Ottawa and through the NHL. I really look forward to seeing what he can do. It's a little unfortunate we're going to have to, October 7th or now, we're going to have to wait. We're going to have to wait a few months to see Tim Stützle play, even in development camp or, preseason. But I can't wait. We waited a few months to draft him. Let's wait a few months to see him. It's going to be worth the wait, I think. Now, 5th overall. This was surprising for some people. But once Ottawa took Lucas Raymond 4th overall, Brandon Mackey and I, on the live stream on my channel here on SENS Talk, both agreed, and then Corey Proman broke it, that Jake Sanderson would likely be the presumptive pick, and he was at 5th overall. The left-handed defenseman at 6'1", 185 pounds from UND. Last year with the U.S. development program in 47 games played, had 7 goals, 22 assists for 29 points. Now, with Lucas Raymond going 4th, Ottawa had a few players to choose from, like I just said, but they ended up picking another UND product in Jake Sanderson, the best well-rounded defenseman in this draft. He's been compared to guys like Jacob Slavin, who, in my opinion, is probably one of the most underrated defensemen in the league, and that's a really, really good comparison. Now, the son of former NHLer Jeff Sanderson, it's no wonder that the younger of the two has the skill and size to catapult himself into a National Hockey League career. That said, pull him from the shadows of his father, and Sanderson is an incredible player that has everything and more to make the jump to the next level. Sanderson's stock rose following January's All-American game, and he's remained one of the top prospects for the upcoming draft, which occurred last night and today. He has a skating ability that can control the pace of play He has a skating ability that can control the pace of the play and plays both sides of the puck with determination. Determination. You watch these hits that he's played, you watch these highlights of him and these hits that he's thrown on some of these defenders and offensive players and everything. This kid's a complete package. Now, he also hardly gets beaten 1v1. Literally, I don't think you can beat this kid 1v1 defensively. He's that much of a defensive whiz, and Ottawa hasn't had a player like that in a very, very long time. Maybe Mark Mathot. Even then, Ottawa has not had an elite shutdown guy. Chris Phillips has not had an elite shutdown guy who can provide some two-way offensive abilities like Jake Sanderson. And now a lot of people were very shocked and very upset with this pick. This pick is going to grow on you, Sens Army. I'm telling you, this pick is going to grow on you. And for a team to win a Stanley Cup, you need defenders like Jake Sanderson. And now you got a top 4 of Chabot, Lassie Thompson, JBD, Sanderson, Willanin's there, Brandstrom. I can go on and on. There's still guys. We have an abundance of defensemen. And Jake Sanderson is just adding on to that pool of great defensemen. Now, Sanderson is one of the few draft-eligible defenders who can outshine the most impressive forwards when it comes to puck control, decision-making, and generating offense inside the opposing end. And he can also play phenomenal defense in his own end, which is pretty obvious considering he can never be beaten 1v1. He's also one of the youngest prospects in this draft, which makes him even more, incredible to watch. It's just really impressive to see, how good he is. So 5th overall, originally I didn't like not yesterday, but originally when I heard that Ottawa may take Sanderson at 5th, I was shocked. I was disgusted at times, for better words. But as time's gone on, I've grown on this kid. And this kid is a legit prospect, a legit top prospect. And he may very well end up being the best overall defenseman when it's all said and done. And on top of that, with Lucas Raymond taking it 4th, I think this was a good pick for Ottawa because you have no other need except right winger, and that was Raymond, and now defense, which is another need, and Sanderson fills that need perfectly. Now, moving on now to 28th overall. Luckily, Ottawa didn't trade this for Matt Murray. This kid, who we're about to talk about in 1 second, is a great kid, great skill. And Pierre Dorion said there were some teams that were interested in this kid, and they were very close to moving up in the draft. Luckily, they didn't have to. So at 28th overall, Ridley Gregg, left winger / center, at 5'11", 159 pounds from the Brandon Wheat Kings. Ridley Gregg is a well-rounded forward with a strong 200-foot game. He's a very well-rounded forward with a strong 200-foot game. He has excellent speed and a never-ending need to frustrate his opponents. His compete level is second to none, and he's never afraid to mix things up in the corners, either with his physical play or just his mouth. Yeah, he's compared to Brad Marchand because apparently he's a very pesky kid. We're going to get to the peskiness in a sec. Even though he's only 5'11", you wouldn't know it by how he plays. He's one of those kids. He's a very pesky, agitating type of player, and I love that Ottawa loves those type of players. Now, he doesn't hesitate to engage in battles along the boards and in front of the net, and he doesn't shy away from physical contact. Greg's second full season in the Western Hockey League with the Brandon Wheat Kings was his best to date, accumulating 26 goals and 60 points in 56 games. He nearly doubled his output from last season and became the number one center for the Wheat Kings at just 17 years old. Not only that, but he was also the youngest on the team to eclipse the 20-goal plateau. Also, I want to mention the Brandon Wheat Kings, great name, my favorite CHL team outside of Ottawa, for obvious reasons. My name is Brandon, and I love the Brandon Wheat Kings. Also, that Wheat Kings, which is a cool Canadian name. He should take a couple years to develop and hone his skill and his size, but he can be a pesky player. The pesky SENS may be back, ladies and gentlemen. He's a tough one to play against in the future, adding to a core of gritty, pesky players on the Sanders, such as Brady, and other players like this would be Brady Tkachuk, Alex Fermenton, and now Josh Norris even, and now Ridley Grieg, which is, I love it. I love it. Ridley Grieg, welcome to Ottawa. Welcome all these kids to Ottawa, but I love the peskiness. I love the agitatedness, and I want the Sanders to be a tough team to play against. I want the Sanders to be a skilled team to play against. I want both Ottawas doing that. This is a slam dunk pick by the Ottawa Sanders, in my opinion. Now, they're saying that will likely be a third liner, which is a little ironic because they traded it for Pajot, who is a third liner in Ottawa for the most part until his latter years. But you know what? Regardless, third liner, fourth liner, I don't care. If this kid can agitate the hell out of opponents, it's a home run already, and he can clearly chip in offensively too. So I think he'll be a scoring third line center, which is always nice to have on your team. Now, 33rd overall. A lot of us expected Peterka out of Germany to go 33rd overall. He ended up going 34th or like he went like a few picks after, I believe. But Ottawa went a little bit off the books here, a little bit off the board with 33rd overall. But you know what? I've seen some of the highlights. He has a good shot. Roby Jarventie at 6'2", 185 pounds, left winger out of LW-ilves in Liiga in Finland. He has a good shot. Roby Jarventie appears to be one of the most fascinating prospects available. As a big-bodied winger who's incredibly fast, Sens love fast players, he possesses a fantastic shot and knows how to pass the puck to bring out the best in his teammates. He seemingly has everything that the league wants in a top-end selection. Now, keep in mind, before anyone says, why don't we take Peterka? Why don't we take this? Why don't we take Willinger? Blah, 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 blah. You gotta keep in mind something. Last year, we said the same thing about Shane Pinto. Look at him now. He's projected to be a second, third line center. We thought he would be a bust. He looks really, really good. So before anyone, and this goes for all the picks. Before anyone says anything, let's wait and see what happens. Now, Jarventie played for Koove, Koovee, in the Mestis League. I'm sorry if I butchered that. The second highest professional hockey league in Finland throughout the 2019-20 season. He's one of the most dominant scorers despite only being 17 years old, and his 23 goals and 38 points in 36 games showcase exactly where his talents lie, which is scoring and putting the puck in the net with a great shot. Now, I got to say one thing. I like this pick for Ottawa. I like speed. I like a good shot. And the defense, we're going to get to the defense because the defense is a little bit but the Sanders, I trust the Sanders to develop this kid into something good. I think more seasoning overseas in Finland will also help him round out his defensive game. If he can't round out his defensive game, he's not going to be an NHL player. He will look lost out there, in my opinion. But I think he will be okay. The Sanders picked him here for a reason because they know that they can. I'm sure they've had conversations with him. So I think the Sanders know that they can develop him into a really good offensive player and work on the defensive game. Now, the reason why Jarventie, like I just said, isn't getting spoken about as one of the can't-miss prospects of this draft is due to his lacking defensive zone presence. While he has great scoring instincts, he can be a bit like a Daisicole in his own zone, leading to bad positioning and goals against. So he needs to be more aware and more into it in his own defensive zone. Sort of like Mike Hoffman, where he has the offensive skill, great shot, great speed, but defensively he's just not there. And unlike Hoffman, I really hope the Sanders can use that great skill set that he has and the speed that he has to turn that into a good defensive output as well. Now, against weaker opponents in Mestis, Jarventie was able to cover defensive errors using his size and speed, like I just said. But that may not translate when he starts playing full-time in the Liiga for the 2020-21 season. I don't think it will. He needs to work on his defensive game. He knows that. The Sens know that. And this is going to be a big year for him because he has a couple years to develop in Europe. And against men, those defensive lapses may cause him to become a liability, even if his scoring upside is great. So it's just like, this is literally like Mike Hoffman. I think this kid has a shot. I think he wants it. I don't think Ottawa would take a risky pick like this if they didn't think they can develop his defensive game better. So I have a good feeling about Jarventie. Now, where do I project him in the NHL? I can't project him in the NHL right now, based off the reasoning that we don't know if he's going to be able to develop his game defensively. So if he can't develop his game defensively, he's not going to make the NHL for a very long period. But if he can certainly be a good scoring winger on a second or third line, I'm sure. Now, let's get to the 44th overall selection, which Ottawa traded a couple picks for. I'm not going to get into the picks because we are already like 15, 60 minutes into this video. But Tyler Kleven is 6'4", 201 pounds, a left-handed shot from UND. Another UND product drafted by the Sanders, who also happens to be Jake Sanderson's roommate. It all comes full circle with the Sanders. Although his stats may not point towards a positive impact, Tyler Kleven's presence was certainly felt whenever he stepped onto the ice. More of a stay-at-home defenseman, Kleven has all the tools needed to make an impact at the next level, whether that's in UND or with Belleville or even with Ottawa. Playing for the United States National Under-18 team, Kleven scored 2 goals and added 10 assists for 12 points to go along with 63 penalty minutes in 45 games played. He also played 17 games for the U.S. National Development Program Juniors, where he put up 2 assists and 37 penalty minutes. Standing at 6'4", Kleven's presence is certainly felt on the ice. He's great at protecting the puck from opponents and does most of his damage in the corners and around the net. He's very adept at clearing his net of any danger and uses his long stick to intercept passes and block passing lanes. Sounds like Jared Cowan. Hopefully better, though. Committed to the University of North Dakota for 2021-2022, Kleven will most likely go back and play another season for the U.S. National Development Program, although he will certainly need more time to develop his all-around game, cough cough offensively. Kleven already has an NHL size and will certainly make an NHL impact down the road, as we know the Sens will love big and tough defensemen. I'm sure he'll get a shot eventually. This pick I like. Igor Sokolov, 61st overall, 223 pounds, right/left winger from Cape Breton Eagles. Igor Sokolov may just be the definition of a polarizing player. With an impressive 46-goal, 92-point campaign, the hulking 6'4" Russian finished third in Quebec Major Junior Hockey League, scoring behind only Alexis Lafreniere, the first overall selection, and Alexander Kovanov. And yet Sokolov had been passed over in 2 consecutive drafts. Sokolov is a behemoth and knows how to use his size to his advantage. Former Eagles head coach Marc-Andre Dumont described the winger as a prototypical power forward with an ability to protect the puck. On top of that, Sokolov was praised for his puck skills, vision and finishing touch by NHL Central Scouting way back in his first draft year. With 46 goals and 46 assists this season, you can clearly see why scouts were talking what scouts were speaking about. However, with any prospect, there are also some drawbacks. And for Sokolov, those weaknesses have been glaring enough to keep him off most scouts' radars thus far. In 2018, Bill Plassick of DraftSite.com referred to Sokolov as a pony that has only one trick, namely his lethal shot. He really has trouble moving his feet and being a 200-foot player. Plassick said, adding that it would take at least a few seasons to iron out the winger's heavy boot issues, not to mention that Sokolov is already 20 years old. I think Sokolov will make the Belleville Sounders next year. I think he will do well. And I think, especially with a lot of graduates coming up to Ottawa next year from Belleville, he'll get an opportunity to really develop his game. I am interested to see how, the Hulk, let's call him the Hulk, does against fully grown, developed players in the AHL. And it's too early to see or project anything for this guy. He certainly has the potential. But it's all now about can he work on his skating and improve that aspect of his game. Now let's get to the 71st overall. And Ottawa took a goaltender here. And that was very shocking, to say the least. At 71st overall, it was Leevi Merilanien at 6'2", 188 pounds, goaltender from Karpat. The Sens have made a habit of selecting a goalie in several recent drafts, including acquiring a goaltender via trade earlier in the day. With Matt Sogard taken last year, Kevin Mandolese the year before, and Jordan Hollett in 2017. With the importance of goaltending in the NHL, it makes sense to always have a developing goalie prospect in the system. I don't understand this pick, though, for one reason only. You just acquired a goaltender. You have Marcus Hogberg. You have Joey Decord. You have Philip Gustafson. You have Kevin Mandolese. You have Matt Sogard. Do I need to keep on going? I'm not saying this kid's not going to be anything good. I just think there were better players on the board available to select. But Ottawa, with Brady Tkachuk, with Shane Pinto, with all these examples, I'm going to hold my judgment and I'm going to see what happens. So he's played as part of the Karpat system in Finland for the last few years, progressing from their under-16 team last year to their under-20 team this past season, putting up a .942 save percentage in 19 games and a former in the former and a .908 in 16 games in the latter. So essentially he had a .908 save percentage in under-20 team and a .942 in under-16 team. Very big difference with the skill level between those two teams. So far this season, he has seen a good increase in his save percentage with a .935 save percentage and a 1.67 goals against average of 3 games for Karpat under 20. Now, I believe the pick that we traded for Matt Murray to Pittsburgh, I think the starting goalie that they took was the starting goalie for this Karpat team. And I think the backup was actually Leevi Merilanien. Now, I could be wrong, and I'm sorry if I'm wrong, but I think that's what I think I'm right, but I could be wrong, so I would double check that. There's a lot of prospects I've covered, and it's a little, I get them mixed up sometimes. Now, considering one of those 50 draft rankings even listed him, none of these 50 draft rankings listed him. He was not ranked once by any of these draft rankings. It seems reasonable to think he would have been available in the 5th or 6th rounds when the Sens were up again with their final picks. Like most late round and goalie picks, we likely won't know for years if the Sens found a diamond in the rough or if this was a huge swing and a miss. But you know what? Ottawa has proven time and time again that they know what they're doing. And while at the moment I'm not a fan of it, let's wait and see. Now, 155th overall, as we're 21 minutes into this video, goddamn. 155th overall, Erik Engstrand, 6'4", 214 pounds, left/right winger from Frolunda in Sweden. A lot of Frolunda connections with the Ottawa Sounders. The second-year eligible wing. And can I say one thing? I think Ottawa selected this guy because I think they were scouting Lucas Raymond an incredible amount. And I think they saw this kid and they were like, we got to take him in the later rounds. And they lost Lucas Raymond. They got Erik Engstrand. Now, the second-year eligible winger is a big winger with a powerful stride and very good wheels, and has improved this season in the Swedish Junior League with 23 goals and 58 points in 35 games. His shot has vastly progressed, so future power forward is what he projects to be. On the power play, he likes to set up on the right half wall like Patrick Kane, not comparing to Patrick Kane, but Patrick Kane does the same thing. He's not an intimidator or even an initiator, but won't walk away from greasy play with heavy contact. Whether possessing the puck or not, he goes hard to the front. He is responsible in his own end. He doesn't finish all his checks or was a consistent forechecker. Tall and a good skater if he just added some edginess. So basically, we got a diamond in the rough here, it looks like, for Ottawa. You know, he doesn't finish all his checks. Wasn't a consistent forechecker. He's a tall and good skater, though. I think you have the framework and the tools that can make a really good player. But now it's up to him to develop into that good player. Now, he posted a relatively good percentage of total goals while that player was on the ice, which is what GF percentage is, of a plus 14.42. So he had a very good positive impact on the ice and is physically imposing as a strong 6'4" winger. This was certainly helpful when dominating 2 to 3 players younger than him, but he has some potential as a tall and mobile late bloomer. So what I'm thinking with this kid is, it's sort of like, Philip All, the former Sens guy, or Marcus Nurmi. Those guys didn't pan out. Let's see what happens with Erik Engstrand. I think he has the tools to develop into a potential NHL prospect. Right now, I'm not saying he is, but he has the tools to definitely eventually take a shot at an NHL position. We'll see, though. Now, with the last 2 picks here, number 158, 158th overall, Philip Daoust, 6 foot, 161 pounds, left winger for the Moncton Wildcats. Now, hailing from Barrie, Ontario, Daoust spent the past season with the Moncton Wildcats of the QMJHL, scoring 29 points, 7 of those were goals, in 58 games. While he has spent his career fighting the odds so far, he seems to have found a great offensive touch with the Wildcats this past season, and is only expected to continue to improve and surprise. Philip Daoust, I'm sorry I'm mispronouncing the name, was passed on by the OHL draft, but has found success in the QMJHL and seems to have shown that he can thrive when challenged. He's become an important player for the Wildcats, and you don't expect that from a guy that 20 other teams passed on in the OHL draft. He's slippery and has offensive skills. His point totals are low because he had to work his way up the lineup. He's been working his way up and has been working to prove himself to people his whole life. I expect him to double his points this season, and I think he's being touted as an underdog who has consistently proven people wrong and exceeded expectations. keep an eye on this kid this year. I've heard some great things from people on Twitter that are fans of Moncton. I've heard some great things from people that know or have spoken to former coaches or coaches currently in Moncton. Keep an eye on this kid. I want to see how he progresses before we make any analysis on him. Now, with the last pick in the draft, the Brandon Wheat Kings again are brought up. 181st overall, Cole Reinhardt at 6'1", 203 pounds. The left winger is a massive winger. He's a left winger and was an alternate captain last season for Brandon and had an impressive performance with 55 points, 31 of those were goals, and 56 games played. Drafted in the ninth round of the 2015 WHL draft, Reinhardt seems to have worked hard to establish a name for himself with the Brandon Wheat Kings. After getting in so many games last year, Reinhardt has another chance to make his mark this year. He seems primed to make the most of it. 20-year-old is considered a late bloomer, but could be a nice surprise for the sixth round selection. I don't know why Chief Editor Noah Luden wrote 7th. He was a 6th round selection. He attended the Colorado Avalanche development camp in 2018, but it seems he was not ready for the next level just yet. Cole Reinhardt's future with the Sens may be unknown at this point, but he could be a nice addition to the Belleville Sanders in the near future, which is exactly where I want to leave it off, because if you haven't noticed, majority of the players in the latter half of the draft were overagers. I suspect they're doing that because they want to stockpile Belleville with, draft talent instead of just signing like a bunch of veterans. And that's for many reasons. I'm not going to get into that if you catch my drift. But what I will say with Cole Reinhardt, with the Igor and everyone, I think Ottawa is expecting or anticipating Formenton, Bathurst, and Norris at whatever get called up, and they're going to graduate from Belleville to Ottawa. And these guys are going to fill in those holes. I think that's what this is about. But you know what? Let me know in the comment section below what you think. We are 26 minutes, 33 seconds in. So I'm going to call it a night. I'm pretty tired. We had 8 days in a row of content. 7 of those were draft previews. 1 of those was a 4+ hour live stream. Today's draft went on forever, man. Like forever. Never stopped. But to all y'all that are loyal, that are sticking to the end of this video too, respect to you. Best fan base on YouTube by far. So besides that, thank you for watching. Please follow me on Twitter at @SensTalk_. Please like us on Facebook at SensTalk. Add us to your circles on Google Plus SensTalk. Click the big red button down there and subscribe to us. Click the notification bell. Turn it on so you get notified whenever we upload a video. And besides that, I'll see you very soon, likely for another episode of the Best of 7 podcast with Igor Kravchuk. We should have that out in the next few days. But besides that, I'm going to take a little bit of a break. I'm a little tired. It's been a very hectic time. But welcome all of these players to Ottawa. Great future looking for the Sanders. The future is very bright. But besides that, I'll see you very soon. And if you want to talk to me, @SensTalk_ is where you can do it. Comment below what you think, and I'll see you very soon. Go Sens, go.